Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. Happy New Year.
Yeah, we're back.
I think we've reached the statute of limitations on saying Happy New Year now, but since it's the first episode back, hey.
Yeah, it feels like we've been gone for a while.
Yeah, it was a nice little break there, It was Christmas, New Year's. Now, I feel like we need to get out in front of the situation we're both in right now, especially as it relates to our podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I do want to say something, though, about, these, 3 weeks, the week, before Christmas, the week after Christmas, which is the week before New Year, and then, even the week after New Year, it's not real life.
No.
It's not even close to real life.
No.
And it just gets you sucked in. You're like, this is how life is. And then it's like today, right back to reality. I think people were still sleeping last week, but yeah.
This is the first full week back to work, if you work a typical,
Yeah, and a lot of people took, they're like 4 days. It gets me another, realistically you use 4 days and get 12 off or something like that. So
yeah, there's always, I took the kind of that full 2 week period, I guess. But once you get to halfway through that week between Christmas and New Year's, it's I have no idea what day it is. I don't know what time of day it is. There's just, time truly does not exist in that
Now,
week.
I woke up last Wednesday, or I guess 2 Wednesdays ago, and I was just if someone walked up to me and was today's Friday, I'd be like, yeah, happy Friday. I wouldn't even, I would have had no idea. Zero idea.
We had a date night planned for that Friday before New Year's weekend, and I was texting my mom on Wednesday, telling her, asking, are you still good for tomorrow? Thinking it was Thursday already, but no, it was still Wednesday. So she had to remind me, Friday. I thought you meant Friday. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. It's not Thursday.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just brutal. But
this is the true back to it week.
But we need to get out ahead of this train. I don't want to delegitimize any of our efforts. But I think what we're doing is needed.
Oh, for sure. Look, I feel like you're a pretty fairly new adopter of this. This is a routine yearly thing for me, so it just feels normal. But all right, so we are the Back 9 Six-Pack. But as we said, if you listen all the way back to episode 1, it's really more of just a way of life, right? It's more of a motto.
Yeah.
Look, we're both doing a dry January.
Yeah, we are.
You've got a Diet Coke sitting in front of you.
Yep.
I have a Liquid Death sitting in front of me. We're going to crack these ceremoniously as we always do.
Yep. Beerless for this episode and the next 3?
The 15th, the 22nd, yeah.
Next 3. And I do want to say this. So last night, I'll tell you this. Wasn't expecting this at all. As far as a benefit. As far as what... a benefit of essentially what I'm doing is I'm doing it to a reset, right? I went to 14 Christmas parties. I mean, Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving into the Christmas parties, and I honestly just needed a break. Beer wasn't tasting as good, drinks weren't tasting as good, and at that point I was like, this needs to happen. Just get away from it, just for a little bit, reset the body. My doctor might even told me you might want to chill it out a little bit. So, which is fine because I got blood work done the day after Christmas. So.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, I'm sleeping so well.
Interesting.
I used to be a person that I'd wake up 3 or 4 times a night, and after the second day, sleep through the night every night. Fall asleep. I'm still a night owl. I still stay up till 11:30, 12, sometimes 12:30, just depending. But I am sleeping through the night. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, so from doing this from experience, like I said, I've been doing this probably, I don't know, it might be close to 10 years at this point. Wait till you get to 2.5 weeks. That's when you're gonna feel the peak benefits. It almost, you get to a certain point after you've done it so long. I think the hardest the first week is the hardest to get out of, right? Because you get to that first Friday, that first Saturday, and you're just like, you're done with work or whatever. You're like, you know what, I just want to crack a beer right now or whatever. That's the hardest part. But once you've done it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you kind of feel like, man, I'm going to keep the streak going. I'm feeling really good, you know?
I honestly felt that way about 3 days in. So actually before Friday. So much so that, you know, I play virtual golf on Friday afternoons. They go down to a local bar, exchange money and all this because we do play for money. And, you know, when I went to play, I was like, you know, I'm not going to tempt myself. Like, we got the training wheel still on. Like, you know I feel good about it. Like, when I went to play golf, I was like, I don't want to tempt myself. By the time golf got over, I was like, you know what? I can go down. Like, I'm a fucking adult. Like, I can go down there, know the ladies behind the bar. I was like, hey, you know, they know. I told them I was doing it. And I said, hey, Diet Coke. And they gave me a Diet Coke. I drank 2 of them and hung out and went home. Like, I had no problem. Like, never even tempted of like, gosh, you know, like one's not going to ruin it. But I didn't. Yeah, I tempted myself and nothing happened. So, but what I was saying though is like, there was definitely some things that healthy, maybe not healthy, depending. But like I said on Twitter last night, so when I was making this list, getting ready to go to bed, I was like, here's like 5 things that I didn't realize were going to happen when I did this. Cause I'm not saying I drink every day, but you know, have I ever gone, 30 days like since college without drinking? No. But my first one is like my caffeine intake is at a highly, highly dangerous level right now. And I don't know if you did you go through that like your first time ever doing it?
Not that I can remember, but I'm always like teetering beyond a dangerous level of caffeine.
Well, it doesn't help that I just got an espresso. Do you know what an espresso is?
Of course, yeah.
Just got an espresso. I got talked into it post-Christmas. Coworker got one. They're like, Justin, this is built for you. You can make anything on this thing. And it's so convenient. So I got one of those. It actually came in on Friday. And since Friday, I've just been like Saturday night sitting around watching football. That was the one time I'm like, I really want a beer. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make me some coffee. I'm drinking espresso at like 9:45 on a Saturday night, which is just dangerous.
Oh, for sure.
So that's the one thing. My caffeine levels, my caffeine intake is just, I don't know if it's a dangerous level. I'm not a doctor, but it feels like a dangerous level.
You're like that episode of The Office where they get the espresso machine. Everyone's just strung out on caffeine.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm so used to caffeine. I know we're caffeine junkies, but that's the first one. The second one, I think you've noticed, I've been tobacco free for, I don't know, 8 months, 7 months. I'm a dipper, but I've been doing these like nicotine pouches that are tobacco free.
Yeah.
My nicotine intake has reached a new time, like all-time high.
You're just replacing vices at this point.
Well, okay, so that's the biggest thing is like, let's take care of one vice at a time.
Yeah. Hold on, we got to back up real quick because I think the biggest development of 2024 is I have fully transitioned you over to an oat milk latte guy.
Yeah. So that was part of the reason I got the Nespresso.
Look at that.
That was part of the reason I got those two. They're so good. But the problem is at a coffee shop, like even Dunkin' Donuts, like they're relatively cheap. Dude, they're like $6, and it's like
upcharge for the
the Nespresso cups are about $1 a piece, but the oat milk is like $3 for like an entire gallon. Like it's almost cheaper than it is cheaper than regular milk. I think I got it. Regular milk was like $3.85. I got oat milk at the store like last week it was like $3, almost $3 even for a gallon.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I'm making an oat milk latte for, I don't know, $1.18 rather than $6 every day. But that was the main reason I got it because I have become an oat milk latte guy. They're delicious, man.
Love to see it. All right, sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
The fourth one or third one, I don't miss the hangovers.
Duh.
Dude. Like, not that I'm saying I'd miss them, but like, it is actually pleasant waking up in the morning and just like, or going to bed on a Friday night and being like, dude, I'm not going to wake up and just feel like a semi truck hit me. I'm just saying it's not a bad thing.
Nope.
Not a bad thing. I'll stop at number 4. I can't wait for February 1st.
I get it.
But yeah, I cannot wait. I can't wait for that. That first sip of beer is just gonna might just take me to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's I'm glad to see you're getting early benefits out of it, and hopefully, like I said, I think that you'll see as you go on here, it's going to get better and better. So
yeah, and I think I'm working out too. Got back in the gym. That is helping me keep my mind off of it.
Right.
Like when I would normally go to a happy hour, I'm just like, my kid goes to daycare at the YMCA, and I'm like, I gotta come out here and pick her up anyway. Like, go work out and then pick her up after. Like, and it keeps my mind off of it. It keeps me from going to a happy hour, even being tempted to go to a happy hour. So, you're a pro at this. I'm a neophyte.
You're just stacking. You're stacking health benefits right now. I'd love to see it.
I told you. Well, we'll get to our goals later, but we're working to I think a doable but a hefty goal, and there has to be changes made. So.
All right, good. Yeah, that's a good teaser. This is our 2024 goals podcast. But before I say that, as always, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. It helps us grow it, which we are looking to do bigly in 2024.
Yes.
And also, follow us on social media at Back9Sixpack, Instagram, formerly Twitter, now X. That's one of my goals this year is to make the transition from Twitter to X. And then Facebook, we have one up there as well. And look, this year we're focusing in on the content a little more. We're gonna get some different things out there on some different platforms, some video, website stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. We met after Christmas, had us a little Back 9 6-pack happy hour. Saw some of our Elks buddies, at the happy hour. Unexpectedly, well, probably expectedly because they hang out there, but right. But we've got some cool stuff. I think I'm excited about the podcast always. I love coming in here on Monday nights, but what we have for Instagram, I'm like super excited about it, and I think the people that we know and people listen should be excited about it too. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, well, we've done enough talking around it. Let's get to it. 2024 goals. I think it honestly took us to start doing this podcast last year before we both realized that we're both big goal people.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So we started talking about it last year and, sort of semi-tracking throughout the year as we went along. So we were like, you know what? Let's just lay it all out here, put it out there, get some accountability out into the world.
Accountability, maybe some karma going our way, throw it out in the universe, see what happens.
Right. Hopefully, maybe people are inspired by what we decide are our goals. They want to share their goals with us, however it works. Let's just take the community up a level in 2024.
Yes.
All right. We broke this down very specifically into golf and non-golf because that felt like the cleanest line to separate on.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Do you want to run through all of one person's goals or kind of go back and forth? What do you feel? Yeah,
we can go back and forth. Okay. I mean, I think you might have more non-golf ones than me, but
buddy.
We'll see.
I got so many golf goals on here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I got, let's see, 7, 8.
Yeah. Let's just go back and forth a little bit.
Okay.
You want to kick us off?
Yeah. Go for it. I'm going to save my best one for last, the one that's the biggest. Okay. My first one is won the club championship last year. Did not win the match play. Unfortunate Benadryl situation where I had to take a Benadryl the day of the match. Got the chipping yips out of it. Not sure that they don't put that on the warning label for Benadryl, but I did lose the match play. I want to double up. I want to run the table on both of those this year. I've never done it. I've won the match play in 22. Didn't play in the club championship. Won the club championship last year, but didn't win the match play. So I definitely want to double up on those.
Is match play flighted or just handicapped?
It's flighted, okay. Yeah. So the championships scratch. There's no handicap involved. Every other flight, I think through D, I think D flight or C flight, and then there's a senior flight is all handicap.
Gotcha.
So that's my first goal.
We're going to do this a little differently because I think I'm starting with the top because I think it all cascades from there for me.
Yep.
I've said it. This is my goal last year. I said it in our teaser for Patio Beers, Best of Patio Beers Part 2 last week. My handicap is going to start with a 5 at some point this year. That's a high-level goal. To accomplish that, I've set a ton of sort of micro goals that will be the reasons that I get there. Do you want me to dive in now?
Go ahead, because do this because it'll be a good transition into what I want to talk about next, cool. As far as like my next goals.
So this one's a little odd, but the key for me in these goals is I want to make them very trackable, right?
Yeah,
it can't just be like a nebulous sort of esoteric thing, right? It needs to be trackable. I'm going to touch a golf club every single day of 2024. We are 8 days in. I have touched a club every single day. And I'm counting this as if I pick it up out of my bag and hold it and just like mess with my grip.
Well,
practice my takeaway. If I hit putts in the basement.
That's a great.
If I'm at the range, if I play, anything that involves me touching a club counts.
Yeah, and I will tell you this. So I read something on, I was going to say Twitter, X. It's probably like 2 or 3 months ago, and the guy was kind of talking about that. He's like, hey, northern states, you're going in your off season, like, grab a club, like, you don't have to swing it. Just like have that feeling of like, okay, like, oh, I know how this feels, right? Like you don't lose that feeling. And the reason he posted it that long ago was, I want to remember his name. He's like a teacher, but the reason he said that is because he was like, you want to do it while golf is still fresh in your mind, so you never lose that feeling as you get into the winter months and things like that. But he said something about just pick up a club. You don't have to swing it, just pick it up.
Right. No, so I actually bought a calendar for this, and I'm Xing off every day and then just writing a little note about what I did that day, just because I want to look back on it.
Yep.
I know I'm not going to do it all 365 because we've got some travel, things like that I think are probably going to prevent me from doing it. But I'm going to make it.
I think if you hit like 90%, that would be pretty good.
That's what I mean. It's one of those like shoot for the stars, fall among the clouds situations. So I'm 8 days straight of picking up my 8-iron and just practicing my takeaway. That's what I've been doing. We're starting there. We'll just keep building.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's number one, because there were too many times when I even, like listening back to episodes, there were so many times I came on, I was like, man, I haven't touched a club in 3 weeks. I haven't touched a club in 2 weeks. Heading into the Turkey Open, it was like, I haven't touched a club in a month. I expect to go out and win doing that? No. So
yeah,
just like keeping it, like you say, keeping it fresh, keeping golf at the top of the mind, and just for me, it's keeping the feels, right? You just got to keep the feels. So it's not like you're going to the course trying to figure out what it feels like to take the club away for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that's the first one. These other ones will be a little quicker. Straight up, I just didn't score well last year.
No, you didn't.
And I'm going to record at least, we have 3 9-holes, or 3 sets of 9 holes at our home course. I'm going to record at least 1 9-hole round at or below par on each of the 3 9s. I don't think I did that last year.
No, you didn't. I mean, again, it's measurable, right?
It's measurable. I know if I'm shooting around even par and if I can break par, my handicap's obviously going to come down, right? A part of that, I'm going to record 10 league night rounds without a double bogey or worse.
Out of 20, so 50%. Well, you got to think you probably play in like, what, 18, 17 of them?
I play in most, yeah.
So a little over 50%. That's not bad. Yeah.
And I say that.
Very doable, I think. Well, yeah, your league nights were rough last year.
The opening double bogey handshake.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you roll out of the car and you may get the hit balls, you may not get hit the ball because you come from downtown, so it's like you just don't know. You know what I mean? And it's tough. It is.
So that's on there. Because I look back, I had no combined, like the 9 and 9 together from league night, no combined 18-hole scores that were under 80. So even if I did have a round where I shot like a 37,
it was tagged with something.
46 is going in there or something stupid. Yeah. So I'm going to focus less double bogeys will obviously help my handicap drop. And then I'm also going to break 80 in 5 18-hole rounds at the Elks this year. I only did it 3 times last year.
Okay.
Tough. And only one of those happened after April 30th. So summer was not good to me. Honestly, we didn't play that many 18-hole rounds, like on the weekends and stuff. This year, I'd like to do that a little more if possible. All of that will result in my handicap starting with a 5.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if you do even half of those, I would think that the result would be you getting down to a 5, something with a 5 on it.
Yeah. And I know that the touch a club thing sounds a little bit dumb because it's not practicing or whatever, but like truly, I think just like having a feel for golf is going to be a big thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. On to your next one.
So, started following this guy, and I'm going to mess up his name. I'm not even going to say it, but he's an amateur golfer, really good amateur golfer, played in mid-ams, things like that. He's talked about really focusing on the process. I know we always say it, like, trust the process. It's not trusting the process. It's like focusing on the process rather than like focusing on the results first, right? Yes. And I've always been really bad at it. You know, we can all sit here and like, I want to do this, I want to do that. My 3 main like measurable areas as far as like, okay, if I can find improvement through a process for these 3 things, like it ultimately it's going to lead to the things I want to do, right? So my first one's a big one, and this, look, I hit the ball further than most people, but when I play in tournaments, I do not. Like when I'm playing in an amateur tournament, like a legit amateur tournament, I wouldn't even say I'm middle of the pack. I'm probably like under 50% percentile as far as length.
Jeez.
These kids are just, like, am I ever going to hit the ball 330 yards? No. It's not going to happen. I'm going to be 34 this year. and honestly, this is part of why I feel like I'm still at an age where I can make gains on what I'm about to talk about. But like, I thought, like, if I can get a 5% increase on club head speed over all my clubs, should equate to, a driver that would be, I'm about 170 right now on a driver. So that'd put me up to like what, 177, 178, somewhere in there. Yep. I mean, you're starting to talk like, instead of flying the ball 275, I'm now going to be flying it 290-ish. A little bit of rollout. I'm going to be consistently hitting, call it 300, 305, depending on, 310, depending on how dry it is. I would be pretty happy with that. Now you start talking like specifically on courses that you play in these tournaments that can be longer. Let's just say now instead of a 7-iron or an 8-iron, I'm hitting a wedge, right? And that's a big difference. That's a big scoring difference. Just hitting the green difference, right?
Sure. As
an amateur golfer, Lou Stanger, who I love, he's a stat head. Like that for an amateur golfer, if even 15 yards closer is probably going to equate to me hitting 1 to 2 more greens around. So, that was my first like process. And like I said, I'm in the weight room again. I'm doing a lot of band workout. Like I'm lifting weights. I need to get muscle mass back. But I'm also doing a lot of band work. I'm doing a lot of hip mobility.
Dude, send me what you're doing. This is on.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's so funny nowadays, like YouTube, Instagram, you can just hop on. Like, I feel like right now, if a high school golfer came up to me and said, hey, I want to be more, like flexible mobility. Like, look, I'm not flexible and my hip mobility is not good, but here's are the people that I'm watching on Instagram and YouTube so hip mobility is a big thing. Obviously making a turn, really, really making a full turn. And at 34, flexibility is becoming less and less, it just is, unfortunately. So that's part of it. I don't have speed sticks, but I'm in the process this week. I'm actually going to build my own speed stick. Okay. I again, found a video. I got to go to Lowe's. Cost me like $13 to build my own speed stick. And so I'm going to do some work on that. And I really don't think, realistically, excuse me, I said club head speed. I meant ball speed. I'm in 170 ball speed.
Yeah.
If I was in 170 club head speed, I'd be hitting the ball like 480 yards. But
watch me hit this ball in this mountain.
Yeah. So that's my first like process driven goal. Second process is I guess it'll start with this. It's a goal, but how I'm getting to it. So I want to average less than 30 putts around. I was at like 31.3 around. I cut down on my 3 putts this year. I was like at 7%, which I don't know what I was in years past. I would guarantee it was double digits. So getting under 10 was a big jump this year. But I've got a birdie green in my basement. I've been down there every night, just honestly, I feel like most of my bad putting's in the beginning of the year. So if I can go out in the beginning of the year and actually just have some kind of feel with the putter, probably going to help me bring those averages down.
Yeah.
But to get to that, that's the process. So I told myself I wanted to putt at least 3 times a week. Get down there, go down there for 30 minutes, hit putts. That's all I'm going to do. Wedges.
Here we go.
And this truly, outside the ball speed, trying to do the 5% increase on every club. If I were to somehow find a way to improve my proximity to the hole, even by 2 feet average, it's drastically, because I had some horrific wedge shots this year. Like 80 yards, middle of the fairway, next shot's a penalty shot. Should not happen. Just should not for someone that has been playing golf for as long as I have, and as good as I've gotten over the last 3 or 4 years, just shouldn't happen, right? Yeah. Just shouldn't. So when I go to the driving range every Friday, I've been staying after and I'm just hitting 50-yard shot. And then I'll change clubs and hit the same 50-yard shot. Mm-hmm. Just trying to feel out that yardage with 3 different clubs, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now. When we get into warmer weather, we've got a nice practice facility. My goal is to be at that practice facility wedges only once a week. A nice schedule. That's going to be pushing it, but I feel like that's a pretty good possibility.
Yeah.
But those were my process to get to the wedges. I don't think there's really anything measurable there other than just I think I have to take the very, very, very bad shots out.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you can measure if you wanted to is to actually track it.
And I'm not going to track proximity, write things down.
No, but you could look at say you just mark any hole that you have a wedge in on your scorecard, whether you hit it or not or whatever. Because honestly, the big misses with wedges are the problem for you, right? It's not granted, if you hit it closer, you're probably going to more likely to make the putt, but really the point is getting out the thin over the green or the chunk or
realistically, if I have a wedge in my hand, par should be the absolute worst thing that goes onto the scorecard.
Yeah.
Right. And that was definitely not the case this year. Definitely not the case. And maybe it could be something where I'm okay, I have a wedge. See how many, I think if I can hit 95% of my greens, or it's maybe 97% of my greens from one, wedge for me is one. I can hit it 145, but I'd say probably 140 and in. That would be a pitching wedge down. I think if I can hit 95% of my greens from that distance and in,
God, yeah, you'd be on tour doing that.
Yeah, maybe 90.
I don't know what their green.
No,
are,
I think
high.
Okay, maybe not 140. Let's call it 120. So gap wedge and down.
Sure.
120. If I can hit, if I can find a way to, and I'm even counting fringe, right? Just.
Yeah, a putt,
hole, right? Yeah. Not some penalty shot, not sculling it, not short-siding myself, trying to attack a pin and be completely fucked after I had 100 yards into the green. But probably, I bet this year I probably wasn't even at 90%. So I think maybe something in the 90s would probably be good. And I could probably track that by, all right, I've got a wedge in my hand. I've got a gap wedge. I've got a, 58. I've got whatever. And okay, did I hit the green or no? Okay, mark it down. I could track it that way.
You get true. I mean, honestly, this could also be a field test thing for you, right? If you feel like you gave yourself more chances or whatever too. I don't think you need to track it But yeah,
maybe I might. I don't know.
You'll have a sense. You'll know.
Yeah. I'll know if they're better.
Yeah.
But I had the wedge yips this year, so we're going to try to get rid of those.
Let's do that. That'd be great. All right, I got a couple here that are just sort of, before I get into like my last set of golf goals. One, I want to play at least 4 non-Elks courses this year, which is pretty doable, obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. We still got to figure out that round at Oasis at some point. We're going to be playing for Guns Bachelor Party, so that one's built in already. So there's like potential for 2.
So realistically, yeah, I need like
2-3 more outside of that. I just feel like we need to get away from the home course a couple times, just to like, when you play the same course over and over, 2 things are true. One, you can start playing a certain way that's like tailored to the course, which can be good, but also bad. And when you play specifically at a course like ours where the greens are so tough and it can get firm and fast, like it can beat you down sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And sometimes it's nice
specifically with, a putter in your hand.
Right.
And chipping and, it can really beat you down. Oh, yeah, 100%.
So sometimes it's nice to get away and, go play whatever. Go play a nice public course. Maybe the greens are a little slower, more receptive, whatever. Maybe you'll shoot a little better score, And also, nothing against any of you guys or anybody we play with, but like I kind of want to get out and play a little more social golf.
Yeah.
And part of that, the second one I want to mention, I want to play golf with my son Zach at least twice next year. Take him to the big boy course, as he calls it. We did it once last year, and it was like honestly the best round I had all year.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And that's just like I need more of those like reaffirming golf is the best moments in 2024 compared to last year.
Yep.
So yeah, those are 2 that are a little more less serious, but I think really important for me just enjoying golf this year. And now I'm going to hop into my last set real quick before we throw it back to you. This is just like my compete section of goals for golf. I want to play in the club championship. I haven't done it since being a member.
You got to.
Yeah. I'm going to do it this year. I've only played the member guest once. We're playing member guest this year.
Got to.
Then we get into, these are the every year. We're going to win our flight in the Stampede, me and Gunth. Last year we took our first L as a teammates. Not happy about that. Neither one of us was playing great. We had a lot going on in both of our lives at that time.
You really did.
It just wasn't going to happen for us. Even though we tried to summon it, it just wasn't there. From there, we're going to win the shootout. Run it back. Going to win the McGonigal. Haven't done it. Haven't really competed. Sort of been there the first. I just want to compete in that one.
Yeah, and we might, depending on how the Stampede goes, we might talk about a partner swap. Good deal. Yo, Yankee swap on the partners.
Yankee swap. Yeah, I mean, look, that would be fun too.
Just depending on how the Stampede goes. Now, if like you guys win it, obviously.
Well, we were gonna do it the year that we won the Stampede, and then me and Gunth were like, okay, well, we got to try to.
Yeah, you got to try to win both.
The double
up.
Yeah. So 100%. That kind of messed that plan.
Yep.
And then look, Nick and I have not fared well in the Turkey Open. I got to be better this year leading up to it. We're gonna win the Turkey Open. I'm putting my name on the trophy. Damn it, it's gonna happen.
I kind of feel like you with the Turkey Open. I feel like you with fantasy football, right?
Dude.
You do all this work and don't even win it. You've never won it. That's the same. My name's not on the trophy either. So
yeah,
yeah.
That was an unnecessary drive-by on my fantasy football
yeah,
record.
That was so bad.
It was.
I kind of feel bad for that, a little bit.
No, you shouldn't feel bad. But yeah, that rounds out my golf goals for the year. I think there's a lot in front of us. We'll get later on and talk a little bit more about just what we're excited about. But yeah, I think this summer, I just think I'm feeling really positive about 2024.
I am too.
Reason.
Yeah,
I know that happens at the new year, kind of whatever. But like truly, feels like 2024 is just kind of like all right, let's forget all this shit that's happened the last 3 years and like we're moving forward.
For sure. Yeah, I feel really good about this year. I will say, I think part of it's not a midlife crisis. God, I truly hope it's not a midlife crisis. That'd be bad.
Be early too.
Yeah, but like I just had an epiphany. Like, we come through these goals every year, and I think I accomplished a decent amount of my goals last year. I did play some really, really good golf. But it always kept coming back. It's like, okay, like, when did I hit this bad shot, or when did I have this bad stretch? For me, a lot of the things that when I had bad stretches of holes, they were typically at the end of the round. And to me, that comes down to a fitness thing, right?
Yeah.
And look, we're only 2 weeks in, but I don't know, since probably college when I got to my lightest weight ever. Like I got down to like 178 in college. Like I was pretty skinny there I think it was my junior year in college. Like I got thin. I was in the weight room twice a day, and I was doing some type of cardio every day. Like I did, and I played some pretty good golf around then. And I was like, to me, anytime I thought back to this past year, as good as I played, when I had bad stretches, it always came at the end of a round on a tired swing. Well, if you're in decent shape, and I'm not going to come out of this winter looking like some, bodybuilder, or, it's just not going to be that way. But if I feel like if I can get in just better shape,
sure,
those swings and what I'm about to go through, these goals become very attainable. I just think back to the Mid-Am, the GCGA Mid-Am last year, and it's like, we're on 14 or 13, and I'm tied for the lead. Mm-hmm. Or I was one back at that point. Made a lazy swing, made double, gone out of it, just like that.
Yep.
And I actually, the last 3 holes, I think I finished like 1 under in the last 3 holes. If I had just part that hole, like, I would have had an opportunity going into 18 to force a playoff.
Right.
One lazy swing, though. Like, got a little tired, one lazy swing, it was done. So the rest of my golf goals, I want to win the McGonigal again, but I'm going strictly Stampede. I felt like how our last match last year, we were rolling. Actually, really, the second day last year, like, we played pretty good in the morning, and then we got in our afternoon match, and then I think we shot like best ball 29. Mm-hmm. Like, it was stupid. And I was like, if we do anything remotely close to this, no one's going to touch us. Like, we're going to be sitting on the sidelines watching everybody chip off. Didn't happen that way. Could have came down to a fitness thing, right? Like, long weekend, got a little tired. I made kind of a lazy swing on that first hole. But just strictly Stampede. I love the McGonigal. I want to win, right? But it's not like a primary goal.
Sure.
I want to win a match in our city championship.
Yeah.
Made match play. Goal last year was to make match play. Hadn't done that and skipped some years. I'd played in it like the prior 2 years, didn't make match play. And it was like, last year was like, all right, this year we're making match play. Only goal. Anything after that's whipped cream, right? This year we want to make it, win a match. And I think last year, unfortunately, like, it was a very winnable match. He was like 1 or 2 over. I just played so bad. Again, kind of comes back. Long week. Monday, Tuesday was a really tough round. Windy, wore me down. Come in Wednesday, probably a little tired. Hopefully this year, with some stamina stuff, we can kind of maybe negate that and play well on Wednesday if I make match play. I said top 5 last year in the GCGA Mid-Am. I want to be top 2 this year. Very doable. Playing a course I love. It's out at Stone Lick. They just released the schedule.
Oh, nice.
Love Stone Lick. I think that's course sets up pretty well for me, considering like who the Mid-Am is. Like, that's a tournament where I probably am in the top 5% in length. Not when you get these college kids out there. I'm like, definitely not. No scores in the 80s this year. That's the goal.
That'll be fun on the track, especially if I'm
That's
playing
the
with
goal.
you.
I mean, I didn't make it past May 15th last year. Yeah. That was the U.S. Open qualifier. And I can't chicken out. And what I mean by that is, like, I can't be like, I'm not playing the U.S. Open qualifier because I don't want to shoot a score in the 80s.
No.
We're going to play in the U.S. Open qualifier again. Just because I can, and I probably don't have many years left where I'm going to be where I feel like I'm still young enough and stuff like that to like be able to play in that. And I want to play in as many times as I can until I get to the point where it's like, I'm a 52-year-old, 2-3 handicap or whatever, dinking it out there 250 yards. I want to be a +3 handicap this year. Whew. Not good for the Stampede. I understand that. But, we're I think we're by the book when it comes to handicaps.
Yeah.
And I think we post every score. I don't think we do post every score. And I think with the processes that I have set up, getting longer, putting, chipping, I think that's very obtainable. I got down to a +2.2 this year.
I was going to ask what your low was. So.
Yeah, that was the low. And then the big one, and I know this probably narrows it down to probably 2 tournaments. I'm definitely going to play in the 4-ball again this year. The USGA 4-ball and the Mid-Am. Like, they did change the qualifying for amateur USAM. There's not 36 holes in one day. But let's just call it what it is. Like, it's a college. That is a bona fide, one of the best college tournaments in the country.
Right.
You see it every year. Like, who are most of the people playing in that tournament when you see it on TV? They're all college kids. And if they're not in college, they're probably a year out of college. Rarely do you see you get a couple guys that'll go out there.
Or it's Stu Hagestad.
Stu Hagestad, the guy that I follow, he made it to the semifinals 2 years ago. He's 40 years old. It just doesn't happen much though. Because again, even if you're the most healthy person in the world and you do cardio and all this, realistically speaking, at 40 years old, you are not going to string together 6 days of good golf just because of soreness and recovery, and your body just doesn't recover the way it does at 40 years old. But right. So I think qualifying for a USGA championship is really going to come down to 2 tournaments for me. It's either going to be the Mid-Am or the 4-ball, and that's that. I'm going to die trying. As soon as I'm able to play in the senior stuff, I'm going to die trying to play in a USGA championship. Oh. Everybody I've heard played in 1, played in 2. They're just like, dude, it's the best thing ever.
Oh, it's got to be.
It doesn't matter if it was the pub links or they don't do that on anymore. But it doesn't even have to be the U.S. Open. It doesn't have to be USAM. There's just USGA championships, bar none, is the peak of your playing career.
Yeah. God, I can't wait. I'm going to be out there caddying for you in the U.S. Senior AM or whatever.
Just
that's
push carting
right
it along.
Yeah, that's goals.
But no, I think I think they're all pretty reachable. I do think that I have a lot of work ahead of me to qualify for a USGA championship, which includes getting in better shape. And the wedges just have to be better if you're gonna they have to be better when you're playing at that kind of level. So
yeah, hit it farther, get the scoring club in your hand, and take advantage. That's what you're gonna have to do.
Yep,
for
and
sure.
that's how the PGA Tour is, right?
Yeah. You got any other golf goals left? Because
no,
I'm tapped out.
That's it.
All right, so we're on to non-golf goals then.
These should be pretty quick though.
I think so. All right, first one for me, primary one here. We've talked a little bit about fitness and health and stuff throughout this. I think that feeds into the rest of these golf goals happening, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put a number on it. I want to get back to my fighting weight is what I'm calling it. We, had a kid last year. The dad bod is undefeated. It comes for you. Got a little out of my skis on the eating and drinking and sometimes throughout the year.
The cheeses and the wine.
The cheeses, the wines, the beers, the holidays.
Milkshakes from UDF.
I don't do that, thankfully. But look, I'm guilty of a nice little creamy whip. Stop at the cone, get a little blizzard action, wizard action, whatever you call it.
Like that.
So yeah, to do that, first I'm going to be aggressive out of the gate. We're dropping 10 pounds by April 1st. Just boom, right off.
That's I feel like that's a lot for you.
Maybe, but I'm probably I'm probably like 15 to 20 over where I feel most comfortable, what I would describe as my fighting weight. So there's some room to go. And this is what I kind of teased earlier when I think I just told you, like, wait till you hear one of the goals that I have in terms of, you were worried about it revealing your dry January to people. So look, one, I do dry January coupled with, like, I do no desserts. So it's like sugar-free January too. So
which, I'm like thinking back on it. I don't think I've done, I'm not a big chocolate person. Like, I'm not a big chocolate person. I'm not, frankly, in the winter, I love going to Cone's, an ice cream place by us. Look, in the summer, like, the Cone's a once a week thing for my family.
Same.
But like in the winter, I'm like, I'm going to sit down and like enjoy a nice bowl of ice cream. Like, that stuff just doesn't typically like appeal to, like, I love, we had our Halloween candy thing. Like, I do like chocolate, but it's not something where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go through 30 days without that, 2 months without that. That's pretty easy for me, at least.
Yeah, my problem is it's once you kind of hit like Halloween, right? When you hit the holiday season, it's just like around.
It is.
And if it's available, I'm going to eat it. That's my problem. So as long as it's just
you can be a snacker.
Yeah, I'm a big snacker. And honestly, like, once you get in the routine of like, I'm going to have something sweet like after dinner, it just snowballs. And it's like every night there's ice cream in the freezer, there's Oreos in the pantry, all stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just stuff happens. Plus, my sister-in-law is a home baker. She's amazing at it. And so I just get like stuff dropped off all the time. And it's like, well, I'm not going to not eat this giant cookie. Like,
look, if she was my sister-in-law, I would be in a wheelchair. I'd be so fat right now.
It's bad. So anyway, I preface that to say, I'm going to do 3 months this year sober and sugar-free.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I commend
I did
you.
2 last year. I made it through February.
I commend you for that. Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you drink at Gunt's birthday dinner?
Sorry. I went until Gunt's birthday.
I was going to say, well, because his is at, like, it's past the halfway point in February. Yeah. So you almost went a full 2 months. I went a month and a half. A good correction there. Yeah.
I
think I remember you drinking.
That explains why that night got a little off the rails.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I'm going to, and I haven't decided is it going to be consecutive. Like, I might just knock it out right here, just do January, February, March, or I might do January, February, then, assess, maybe do one. A lot of people do, like, sober October, like.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. Yeah.
I'm just going to kind of see where I'm at, how I'm feeling with this, getting back to the fighting weight goal, and then adjust from there. But.
Well, I commend you for that, because I already told you, I'm like, I cannot wait for February 1st. I do have a goal tied to that, but not like I'm cutting it out for 3 months. This is not, you want to have goals where you don't set yourself up to fail. That would be setting myself up to fail for sure.
Self-awareness is a good.
Considering just February, you got Valentine's Day, you go out to dinner. My birthday's March 1st. It just wouldn't be possible. Not feasible. March Madness, I digress.
March Madness could be a problem, but, I do feel like, look, I want to lose the 10 by April. It could just line up to be the best thing for me. Then I can hit April, get back on the back.
I wish you luck.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'll update you on that one. Last year, not last one, but last, this part of fighting weight goal. Last year, ran the half Flying Pig Marathon.
Yep.
I did that just under 2 hours. I'm going to run one this year. I can't do the pig because it's the same weekend of Gunt's bachelor party.
Yeah, I thought it was in May.
Yeah, so I'm got to find one to run, but I'm going to run one. I'm going to do it in an hour and 58 or less, which is about a 9-minute a mile pace, which I think I can do that easily, I think.
Do you remember what you were last time?
I think it was 159.
I mean, outside of the bad weather and stuff like that, because you had some shitty weather.
That was the thing. Is I don't know what my true baseline is because it was such an outlier last year. It was truly
when you're trouncing through 6 inches of water for the first mile. It was not great.
Literally biblical rain.
Yeah.
So I don't know what my baseline is, but the fact I did 2 in that condition or that level of conditions, I feel like I can drop it. I can take it down further from there, but I also wanted to keep it realistic. I feel like around a 9-minute mile for that many miles is pretty conservative.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can beat that by quite a bit, but we'll see. So anyway, running that half marathon, obviously I'll be doing training that ties into the fitness, obviously as well. So that's that one for me.
So So my goal, non-golf related, but kind of tied back in. So as crazy as this sounds, I did. So the one I left out, and this is why I left it out on the 5 things. In 7 days, I lost 13 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge. It's crazy,
dude. It's insane. Like, look, I knew I was going to lose weight, and it's funny because our guy Gunth was like, he's like, I can't wait to see what this does as far as a transformation to your body.
Yeah.
And knowing that, and I think he said that in a couple ways, like, weight loss, this, whatever. I would have, if you'd have said, how much weight do you think you're going to lose in the first week of doing this? I'd have told you 5 pounds, maybe 4, but so I've already lost, 13. Ideally for me to my fighting weight, I need to lose about 35 to 40 pounds. Very doable. Very doable. Like, specifically because I fast 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
And have no issues doing it. Like, realistically, I'm at the point now that I've been fasting for 18 hours a day for probably 3, even during the holidays I did it, because I'm not a big breakfast guy. Unless I'm just shit-faced drunk or hammered or buzzed. I'm not a big, night snacker. Just not. Like, I just start doing something on my computer or, I'm on my phone or whatever, or watching something. I'm not a night snacker. So 18 hours is really not that long. So I feel like doing that is going to get me to that weight pretty quickly. But my goal is the last week of January, specifically the last 3 days of January, I'm going to do a 3-day fast.
Wow. Okay.
I've been wanting to do one. I've gotten up to 2 days before I was just like, and I don't think I was drinking enough water was the problem.
Right.
Which kind of derailed me a little bit. The last time I did over a day. But I want to do the last 3 days of January. I'm going to do a fast, and then I think I'm going to do another one in June. Don't know when yet, but I'm going to try to do 2 3-day fast in 1 year.
Nice. Yeah, full disclosure.
I know
I've never even considered fasting just because I'm I got to eat a little something every 3-4 hours person. So,
but it fits because I will say this: I don't want to categorize myself as a binge eater, but I would prefer, if I can, I would sacrifice a meal to eat 2 larger meals.
Sure.
In a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my lunch today. It was not gigantic, but it would have been smaller had I eaten breakfast. So for me, it's I had a decent sized lunch, a decent sized dinner, kept it under 1,800 calories, but I felt like I was eating a lot.
Yeah. And
that's what fasting does, right? It's supposed to shrink your stomach. You need less food to feel full and satisfied and things like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm going to do 2 3-day fast at some point this year. Well, one's going to be at the end of January, which is kind of dangerous going into February 1st. I mean, that first beer is already going to hit hard.
What day of the week is February 1st?
You know what? I frankly didn't even look.
Okay.
For my sake, I hope it's a Friday because it could get, let's see, I don't know.
I should know
Ooh,
this.
It's a Thursday.
Oh.
Even better.
That's a nice little entree into the weekend, right?
So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll fast. I think that's really good because I can have a decent dinner Sunday night, go into Monday, start the fast, and into Thursday, which I probably need to eat breakfast that day.
Probably, yeah. I would suggest
just to get food back in the system if I'm going to have my first beer that day.
Yeah.
And so my last goal is also running base, as crazy as that sounds.
Wow.
In the past, I've done the turkey trot or turkey run.
Yeah.
Downtown. Haven't done it the last 2 years. Actually, no, I haven't done it since COVID. No, I did it 1 year post COVID. 2021 is the last year. I'm going to run that again this year.
Nice.
The last time I ran it when I was the weight that I want to get down to, I think I averaged about 10 and a half. Look, it's not a half marathon. So really, I think if you did a 5K, you could probably average like 7 minutes a mile, probably, right?
No, not that fast, but
eight and a half.
A 5K, I'm probably looking around like a 25-minute total, so like around 8.
Yeah. So I was at like 10 and a half per mile. I would love to do a sub 10. And as crazy as it is, I hate running, but I'm not, to me, because like when I did it in 2021, I did 0 training.
Yeah.
0. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, to get under 10, if I even like 3-4 months before just kind of started running, I could easily do sub 10. Now it's hard running downtown Cincinnati.
Yes. Can confirm.
And specifically in this run, that the second mile, 95% of the second mile is directly up a hill.
Sure.
It's disastrous. But I think if any kind of training beforehand, 3 months leading up, I know I can do a sub 10.
Yeah.
The only problem I hate, I'm going to do it, but the only thing that makes me, and hopefully maybe I won't be as sore, working out. My goal is to not stop the gym. Like I'm going to do, 4 days, 5 days a week throughout the year, because that's what I used to do. Our boy Cody, we worked together. We used to go to the gym every morning. Right. And it just became part of my habit, right? It's like, all right, I go to the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning. This is what I do, But I think getting back to that weight, like in 2021, I was at that weight, but I wasn't working out pretty regularly. Easily think I can get sub 10.
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah, I love that.
And I'm not a runner, but like I do love competition, even though I'm not going to win it, right? But like the last time I ran it, Cody's like, no way you do, sub 11. Mm-hmm. Like knowing that I didn't train, right? And I was like, fuck this dude, I'm doing it.
Exactly.
So I did it, but yeah, I'm a competitor, and again, I'm not going to win, but if I set a goal and it's like, that'll keep me, even if I'm tired, that'll keep me going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you got to have micro goals.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to run that race again.
Nice.
I may actually try to do the one in Mason, depending.
Yeah,
but I'm going to do a 5K that day for sure.
Yeah, I've done the 10K out in Mason a couple.
Is it
times.
a 10K?
I think they have a 5K too. They do both.
Or sorry, the Turkey one downtown is a 10K. It's 3.6 miles. What is 10K? 3.
No, it's 10K is 6.2. 5K is 3.1.
Okay, that's okay. It is a 5K. So the Mason one's 10.
I think it's both. I think they have both options.
Okay.
You run and then you get to a split.
I don't know if I'm ready to run 6 miles.
Yeah.
No, I think the one downtown is a 10K.
They do both. I'm sure they do.
No,
both.
they don't. It's one. It's flat. Everybody does the same one,
okay,
and
maybe not.
It's definitely a 10K. Now that I remember it, it's 6 something miles.
6.2.
Yeah. So I ran that in like 10 and a half average last time.
That's not bad. From off the couch, yeah. No.
Like all straight off. But again, I was at a weight though that it was not going to be as like if I tried to do that right now, fuck no way.
Yeah.
No chance.
Okay, a couple more left for me. One, I make a goal like this every year and I fail so hard, it's unbelievable. So I'm scaling it back, and I think I've got a tool to help. I'm going to read 6 books this year.
I don't set reading goals for myself.
Dude,
anymore.
I've set the classic, I'm going to read 12 every year for the last like 5 years, and I barely get through like 2 maybe. But my wife did get me a Kindle.
Okay, well that helps.
So I've got that. That helps because I think for me, especially like with young kids, I pick up a book, it's like I'm going to sleep. Like I can barely get going and then I'm passing out reading it. Having the Kindle so that you can just take it more, it's more portable, right?
Yeah.
It's just easier. Like I love holding a book and reading a book. Like I just like the feeling and the practice of it. But like the ease of having the Kindle, like being able to read in bed easier with the light and doing it, that'll help. I just need to commit to it. I got to pick 6 books out and just knock them out. And I'm going to hit this one this year. I cut it in half intentionally to make it more achievable. Because if I don't get any done in the first couple of months here, when you're trying
you're
to read
gonna
12,
fall behind.
Well, when you're trying to read 12, it's
you really got to average about one a month.
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
like
do
it's
that.
like I'm not even going to bother trying to catch up.
I mean, I do know people that can read 4 or 5 in a month, but do you really want to put yourself through that? If you're not like a huge reader,
yeah, that's just not going to fit my lifestyle where I'm at right now. So,
yeah.
But if I get behind and it's only 6, that's a little more like I can start that in April and still feel like I can do it. But once you're in April, you
but like, 12
no.
is just you get behind 1 month and it's kind of done.
It feels
you
insurmountable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that.
I am reading a picture book right now, by the way.
You told me you ordered somebody's book, and I was like, "Holy shit! You gotta let me know what's going on with this."
No,
and then you're
I don't
sending
read
me cartoon pages, and I'm like, "This doesn't count." You need to order a picture
It's such, dude. It's so good though.
I know.
I can't wait to pass it on to you. You're gonna get a kick out of it.
Oh, God. So, I've got one left on here. Do you have any left?
No, I don't think I have any
left. This
left.
can qualify for us both because I put on here just generally that we're going to grow the back 9 6-pack. And I put 2 sub goals that are actually going to help us do that. We're adding new content. We talked about that. We're going to do some more social, some more video, start adding blogs into things. And then also, I'm going to fully launch the website with the online pro shop. And we're going to the fucking moon.
Let's go.
So those are on the docket.
I can't wait till I'm at the fucking FedEx office every day.
Yeah, you're gonna be. That's the problem. You're gonna be.
Hey, I'm here for it. I got fast fingers, packing fingers. So
there you
go. My hands were built for packing.
Jeez. All right.
But yeah, I don't have any more other than I think I was thinking about our Instagram. I think we're at 120 followers right now. Would love to get it to 500 by the end of the year. I think that's very obtainable.
Yeah, I think that's doable with the stuff we have planned.
And as we say this, I think part of that is implementing video into our podcast, which, fingers crossed, people, is coming very soon. I know you want to see our lovely faces on top of our voices, which leads to opening a YouTube channel and things like that we can upload episodes on, but it's very close, and I'm hoping, my goal is by March we do our first episode, which is going to be video and audio.
Nice.
So fingers crossed.
All right, well, that's the 2024 goals for us. We will track those throughout the year, give some updates here and there. Just gives us something to talk about and follow, and like I said earlier, keep each other accountable. So that'd be great. I put it on here to kind of talk Century stuff. I feel like, let's just hit this real quick.
Yeah, real quick. I think my big takeaway, Kisner, fantastic, dude. And I'll tell you this, I did not watch a ton of the Century.
No.
Back and forth between football and stuff.
It's like preseason golf, right?
It really is. And, we talk about live all the time. And it's like, dude, it's a fucking exhibition. That's what it was. It's an exhibition to get guys that won last year paid. And it's vacation too. I mean, essentially, let's call it what it is. Those dudes are going over there 5 days before, 6 days before that tournament. They're hanging out with their families and wives and kids. And then they know they're going to get a $100,000 paycheck at a minimum.
It's probably more than that.
And they're already going to be over there for the Sony. So you just might as well go, it's a vacation. But I didn't watch a lot of it. I do love... Dude, look, I love that course. It's
so fun.
It is cool. It's really cool. And the scenery is off the charts. But I did flip it on, and I got in right when, Kisner, I think it might have been his first day on.
I think he did Friday and Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, so I got it on, and it was right in time for when Jordan missed, and the video's kind of gone, at least in the golf sphere.
Yeah.
Viral, where Jordan misses a 3-footer, and Kiz is talking when he's lining up, and he's talking about Jordan. He's like, yeah, if I was going to give him some tips, I'd tell him dude, just get up there and hit it. Don't wait it. The longer you're over it, the more you're thinking. And then Jordan misses it, and Kiz goes, come on, Jordan, it's a 3-footer.
He's just make it.
He's every Jordan Spieth fan. Dude, come. What are we doing here? But I thought he was pretty good from when I turned it on Sunday, trying to flip back and forth between football. I thought he was fantastic. And what I do love, and I think everybody's slightly worried about it because he is who he is. I think everybody's kind of worried about him, trying to be something that he's not, announcer guy. And I don't think he did that at all. I think he was himself, brazen, brash, himself in a good way, in an entertaining way. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, no, I just kind of caught like the clips I think on Instagram and stuff of sort of like his highlights or whatever, and yeah, I mean he sounded natural, authentic, all the things you want your golf announcers to be.
Yeah,
and look, I think this would be because he's still playing, obviously.
Yeah, and I think that's what adds a little bonus to it, right?
Yeah, I kind of hope that they like do this going forward and get some of these guys that aren't playing, but maybe they're they're around for whatever reason or something. Zoom them in. I mean, we have mobile, virtual technologies. Like, have somebody call in and
you can announce a golf tournament from your couch if you really, really needed to.
I just think it would be great to have some of these guys that are out there every week, know some of the guys competing, know what it's like right now to be a tour player. Like to add that context that guys that are in the booth that haven't been doing it for a while or whatever can't do.
And with these elevated events, you have guys like Kiz and. I'm not going to name anybody else that are not qualified for those tournaments.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Kiz has made a lot of money. He doesn't need money. But I think it gets him paid, right? Like, get a little paycheck, on a week that I'm not qualified for the tournament. And I think the insight that they can add being in tournaments with these guys the rest of the year that I don't think, RIP to Paul Azinger can add. Right?
No, those guys,
they're more tied in.
Yeah, exactly. The guys that are in the booth and stuff, like, sure, they do their research. They might talk to a guy for 5 minutes on the range during the week or something and get a tidbit.
Yeah.
But these guys think about it. I mean, if you're Kiz and you're paired with Spieth for a tournament, you got him the first 2 rounds, you're playing golf with him for 8-9 hours.
Yeah.
Think about the conversation and things, the insights that people can learn or just from talking to guys.
Yep. Like, or practice rounds or whatever.
Practice rounds, all that. Yeah. So I think that's the part of golf that's really missing is just sort of that truly like inside the ropes feel.
And I don't know if any players commented on this, but I think they actually enjoy guys that they are like either freshly out of playing professional golf or like I'm sure if you asked a handful of guys, like they're like, yeah, we loved having kids out there. Like they would probably admit that they're friends, right? Like they're no offense to some of these older guys, but like, some of these younger guys might not even know who they are. Like they from broadcasting and stuff, but like they weren't alive when these guys were playing golf. So I think it definitely adds something. I wish I think Kiz is doing the waste management unless something changes, like where if he wins or something and qualifies, gets into the top 60 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's set to do the waste management, which is an elevated event as well, which, look, I want my boy to pick it back up this year, but there is nothing I think would be more entertaining than having Kiz, like, on 16 at the EPC, at the waste management. So,
for sure.
But that was my big takeaway. I mean, look, Chris Kirk, well-known story, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think at this point, pretty cool to see him win.
Yeah, a couple. So Kirk wins minus 29. He bogey-free 65 to win on Sunday. Awesome. He only had 1 bogey all week. I know this course is very scoreable, but like that's still pretty impressive.
Especially with the
big
wind.
Greens too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, easy to 3-putt. Sahith, our guy, he's close. He's approaching our king territory.
Dude, he's so close. He's so close to just like having like the year Max Homa had like a couple years ago when it's like, oh, it's like boom, boom. It's like, oh, okay, he's here.
Yeah.
Like he's there. Like we know he can top 10 the scoreboard to death.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for him to just stack wins. Like maybe a couple this year. I truly believe he's talented enough to win 3 times in a year. Truly believe that.
Sure. Yeah. He finishes second solo. Then Spieth, our actual king, finishes third solo. Somehow led the field in strokes gained putting, despite publicly missing the 3-footer. Right.
The viral video.
Yeah. Morikawa and Scotty finished for and tie for 5th. So Scotty again, 45th in strokes gained putting. He was 3rd off the tee and 2nd on approach. I don't know how long.
In a 59-person field, by the way. Don't forget to mention that. 45 wouldn't be
50,
bad in a 144-person field.
He's just going to, I guess, I think it makes his run even crazier. Like how bad the putting's been.
It's just sad, though, because you realize how many times he would be winning if he could just.
I know we went through this.
So that was one thing that Kiz, when I was watching, he was talking about how Scotty sets up open.
Yeah,
I haven't heard a lot of that. I know some people that set up opens. I actually think the people that set up open are typically better putters. I don't know why, like just the ones I know, but there's something there. And honestly, I truly still believe, I'm still in the boat, that it's not mechanical. It's all mental at this point.
The mental miss.
Yep.
He's got it in play. I threw some other guys on here. Xander, T10, Cantley, T12, classic. T14 for Max. Didn't have a great week, but...
Almost had the hole in one.
Yeah, well, almost had a hole in one and hit like a 480-yard drive.
Yeah,
I think he set
longest
the new
one
driving.
in...
Yeah, I think it's the longest in history.
Like since they've been tracking, what is it?
Yes, whatever the ShotLink era is.
Yeah,
I don't know what year. But apparently I think it beat out like a Davis Love drive, which is crazy to think about. But it was also, I think it was in the same hole, too.
I was totally expecting a different name than that. Just an FYI.
Well, because, I'm sure that's 20-plus years ago, probably. So
yeah,
think about equipment.
So wild.
But, yeah.
But Davis used to move it, though. Like, he was one of the longer hitters back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he used to move the ball.
He had pretty easy power, too.
Yeah, it was very very,
very
no
efficient
effort.
Swing, yeah. Okay. The Century is just like a nice kickoff to the year. Turn it on. You got Hawaii on in the background. It's great. But we're heading to Sony this week.
Underrated tournament, by the way, I think.
I think so, too. The big thing for us, so, look, we were trying to find a way to get involved, have something else to talk about weekly on the pod. I listened to, I don't know if you ever heard of the Pat Mayo Experience. Do you know Pat Mayo? Mm-hmm. So he's pretty much like the OG of fantasy golf.
Yeah.
Followed him for a long time. Back when I hit the Danny Willett winner at the Masters, that was a pick of theirs. They're famous. Him and the guys that he works with are famous for hitting that call at like 125 to 1.
That's
just massive
stupid.
Community win. Anyway, he runs a one-and-done pool. It's an $800,000 pool, $80K top prize.
Hell yeah.
Called the Race for the Mayo Cup. So I signed us up for that. We're going to do joint picks every week in this one-and-done tournament. If you've never done a one-and-done, it's awesome. It's so much fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Gives you just something to care about in golf every week and to track. You pick one guy every week throughout the season. Can't use him again. Whatever they win in purse money is what gets added to your pot. And then at the end of the season, whoever's got the most money in the pot is the winner of the thing.
Yeah.
And obviously this one pays out a long list of spots. So.
Yeah. But it's one-and-dones are a lot of strategy to it.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the people that we think we should pick this week. I think our mindset's probably in the same place because, look, is it easy to be like, oh, Max Homa is playing this week, I'm going to pick him? You could, right? But you want to save the horses for the bigger tournaments, obviously bigger pots.
Yeah.
I don't know what the winner gets at Sony. It's probably 2 something.
So Sony's one of the lower total purses for the year.
Yeah. So it's probably the winner probably gets like 1.9, something like that.
It's probably around 2.
So to use Max Homa, and you don't, there's no guarantee he's going to win. But you don't want to like come out of the gate and be like, all right, I'm using Jordan Spieth this week. You could, if you really truly believe that it's a great course for him.
Yeah,
you could, but not advisable, I don't think.
No, yeah, I'm with you. Usually, I try. I mean, the thing is, it's hard,
especially on the real small pots like this one.
Yes, these are the ones where I think you can go a little off board, or burn a guy that maybe in like a full field event he'd be like the 20 to 30th best player,
yeah.
But in this one, he's in the top 5 in the betting odds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. You want to get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it. I got 3. You said 3, right?
Yeah, I think our process to start, we'll test the process and then see if we can trust it.
Yeah.
I think we both come here ready with 3 picks and then see if we have any overlap, hash it out from there.
Yep.
All right, who do you got on your list?
First, last year's champion, Siwoo.
Don't hate that.
20th at the Century, not terrible.
One note on that before we move on. 9 of the last 11 winners of the Sony have played in the Century.
Yes. Yeah. So
knocking off the rust the week before, you're already in Hawaii.
So I mean, all mine checked that box, and I did look at that. But Siwoo won last year. Like I said, big. I think if you talk to any golf handicapper, they're going to tell you course history is the most and one of the. I mean, obviously, you want to make sure they're not they don't have the yips or something at that point. But if they're standing upright and they're swinging the golf club good, course history is a very, very big part of, picking somebody.
Yeah, and part of course history is course fit. And
correct.
So I've looked a lot at corollary courses to Waialae. And a lot of it's the ones you think, right? It's Colonial, it's Sedgefield for the Wyndham.
Yep.
It's Pete Dye track, sort of the, Harbour Town. It's sort of the ones where it's more be on the right side of the hole, and then you can attack and score.
Yep.
So go on, sorry to interrupt you.
But Siwoo, 20th last week. Course history, last year's champion. Always kind of seems like a pick that it's okay, he's not gonna miss a cut on you, right?
Oh, see, I think with Siwoo, you know in the first 9 holes which Siwoo you're getting.
I get that, but but he's, to me, and especially a course like this, it's not a balm and gouge kind of place. I feel like he's got a really, really good shot at just not missing the cut, right? So that's kind of where my head was at with him.
Who else you got? What's your front 3 years?
So, dude, I don't want to sound like a front runner here, but I've got Chris Kirk.
Look, I thought about putting him. I didn't, but I'll listen to Chris Kirk.
The more I thought about it, was just oh god, this is so front running. Of course, he just won. It's of course you're going to pick him. But I think there is something to a hot hand, specifically, traveling as far as they do to get to this tournament, and he's already over there. He's already played golf over there. Not saying the guys that are over there for just the Sony haven't been playing golf over there, but he's played tournament golf over there. He's been over there, and he came in third last year in this tournament.
Yeah, it's a good course fit.
Yeah. So again, he's hot hand. He's good course fit, good course history. I think even if he didn't win this week, I think if he came in top 15, I would even okay, this field, Century has the best of the best, right? I think I would have still even put him on the list.
Sure.
Despite even though he won. So, and then my last one, the Postman.
Wow.
JT Poston.
Yeah, he's hot. Playing good golf.
T5 last week. He was 21st last year. Again, kind of feels like a good course fit for him. He does, and so I did kind of look at courses similar. He always does play pretty well at Sedgefield too. Yeah. So in the years that he played, I don't think he actually played at Sedgefield this past year, but I went back a couple years and he was top 10 there. So feels like a good course fit. Yeah, I think that was my third one.
Yeah. So
again, going off the board, not picking any Jordan, whatever. I feel like this is a week where you can kind of go deeper into the pocket, save some of those guys that might be, your favorites in the majors.
Yeah, I thought about Poston as well, but then I saw a note that he's never been inside the top 20 at Sony. So now he's a little bit different.
I said 21st last year.
I think he's in a little better form and is ascending.
Feels like
in a way that he wasn't previously. So it could be a little noise in the data there. Shocking. We have no overlap. We're going to have to make a decision here.
Okay. Hey, we can negotiate. Yeah.
So third on my list, and this is more of just a heater play. Been on, or came in fourth this week at Century.
He did. Yeah, I saw that.
He was T12 last year at Sony.
Yep.
So good finish as well. Typically just fantastic ball striker. Putter is his problem.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to remove him from contention of this completely because he's hurt me before, and I don't know that I'm ready.
Yeah, I've gotten burned by him once in the past.
Yeah, so that's
definitely some scar tissue.
That was my third ranked player. Russell Henley coming in second. Solid player, always going to be there.
Yeah, I thought about putting him on. He was close. If I had a fourth, it was probably going to be him.
He didn't play great last week, but I think the Century's more about just knocking the rust off and figuring it was
so out. That was kind of why I left him off.
Yeah.
Not fair to him. I don't,
No, this was 10 years ago, but he won here in 2013. And his last 12 rounds here, he's averaging 65.92. Par 70, but
terrible.
Yeah, so he's truly like a horse for the course situation for Russell Henley. This one is a guy who's always solid. I do feel like he's somebody that we might need later on, so I don't know that I want to burn him. But Corey Connors.
So he would have been 5th on my list, only because I feel like the course fit is just almost too good.
Yeah, he was 4th in approach last week at Century, so hitting it well. He's got 4 top 12 in his last 4 starts at this event.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
He's, I think, like 4th or 5th on the odds board, so not at the top. He's, plus 2,500, which is behind Henley, actually, who's, plus 2,000. I like Connors this week. I don't know if he'll make enough putts to win, though. He feels like he's probably going to be around the top 10, but it's a scores track, too.
Yeah. He would have been 5th on my list. I kind of saw his past history at the Sony. But what kind of swayed me away, I'm like, man, he kind of got on a run last year. It's like, God, do we want to waste him at the Sony? You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
I feel like there's courses throughout the year that fit him well, too,
I mean, he's like back-to-back defending champion at Valero. Like, those are tournaments where, especially with guys leaving for live and stuff, there's going to be some bleak weeks that we're going to need.
Yeah,
you might
100%.
Get a guy like where Henley might be the top of the odds board that week. There might be a week like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
I would tell you this. I'm willing to take JT Poston off mine.
I like that only because I think, look, I get he's playing well, but I think it is, in compared to these other players, he's like the one most likely to just like completely.
Yeah, so you took Ben on off yours, right?
Yeah.
We agree with that.
Yeah.
So we're really down to 4. So Corey Connors,
Henley, who do you have?
Siwoo Kim, and Chris Kirk. I would say just looking at and thinking of it this way, because this is another strategy that you kind of have to take in the one and done. Unless it's like a given, and there's no given, right? It's golf. But, someone that's like, gosh, he's definitely going to play well this week. And there's moments where you do have that, right? I think like Rahm at the Genesis last year, you're like, dude, this he may not win, but he's gonna be up there. First big tournament of the year, coming off some really good golf. But I'm willing to take Chris Kirk out because I think he's going to be an overwhelming pick.
Think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Coming off a win, coming off a 3rd place last year, it just feels like there's going to be a lot of people that take him.
I get the same vibe for Henley from my 2.
I was gonna
in like this, like the DFS world of golf, fucking love Russell Henley.
Yeah, because he's kind of one of those guys. Like he's not going to win a lot,
he's a cup maker,
but he's a cup
machine.
maker, right? Yeah.
I'm looking at Siwoo just for this last week. Didn't do anything spectacular, but he also had a bogey-free 66 on Sunday.
So I was going to say, I think it's down to Siwoo and Corey.
It might be Siwoo Kim time.
You think so? I'm good with either of these. I really am.
If we have Siwoo with signs of life on a course we know he can compete at, I think Corey Connors could be valuable to us later.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. I think Corey Connors down the road is more valuable than Siwoo Kim down the road.
God, we're going to lock in Siwoo as the first pick.
Let's do it.
That's electric. Locked in. That's provocative.
Yeah, that's it's something for sure.
Repeat champion too. Ooh, this feels bad. Maybe that's a good thing.
Yep.
All right, Siwoo Kim, the official back 9 6-pack, race for the Mayo Cup, one and done. Pick of the week.
Let's get this quiche.
Let's do it. Start off hot. Come on, Siwoo. All right. One other note on the Sony. Saw some Instagram posts. The official caddy of the back 9 6-pack back in business, doing a big at YLI. Jay Green back out there. Look, we had a fun run. The Kevin thing last year was great to track. Yeah. Look, I'll be candid. Jay's caddying for Grayson Murray. A guy in the past that's, he's done some stuff. He's had his struggles.
Well-noted struggles.
Yeah, well-documented. A lot of self-inflicted pain involved in that. But But hey, at the Back Nine Six Pack, it's a new year. We're all about second chances.
That's what I said. I said, look, I even before, he hired Jay, I was. It felt like at the end of last year, he gets his card back, gets a couple articles written, like documenting, like he's troubled, but like he seems changed. Look, I'm sure we can hash back through our stuff and find a lot of stuff. We're just not in the spotlight, right? So yeah, we're gonna give him. I think he deserves a second chance. He does seem a little more level-headed, so.
Yeah, I saw some interviews after he won on the Corn Ferry Tour for the second time last year, and some quotes where he kind of had a moment where he's like, you know what, I'm 30, I got to just figure this out and be more serious, and like I've got a chance to make a career in golf, and I can play till I'm 50 something, and
there's nothing like what a demotion does to you, right? Like you get demoted down after being on the PGA Tour, like it had to humble anybody, like Corn Ferry's a great opportunities for these guys, but they're not the world's largest pots, and it's unless you're in the top 15, making some money out there, it's not easy. No. So definitely a humbling experience. But Jay's on the bag. Jay actually had a pretty good week here last year. Yeah. He was on Will Gordon's bag. I think it was a top 15 for Will Gordon that week. So maybe we'll see a little bit same quality caddying this week for Grayson.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So we'll be watching, keeping track of Jay out there. Hope he has a great week. And I think it's time. With that, we're back on the patio.
Yeah.
It looks a little different. We might need a dry January sponsor for the patio.
Yeah.
We got Liquid Death, Diet Coke. You guys want to reach out and do a deal? We're open.
Yeah, I don't want to relate myself too much to John Daly, but I am a Diet Coke fiend. I've limited myself because of the caffeine intake I've done. I've limited myself to 2 a day right now just because I'm already pumping enough crazy stuff. But yeah, we got the non-alcoholic patio today. It'll still be fun. Not quite as fun as it usually would be, but we'll hop right into it. And I want to get my question out before I forget it. And I saw it on Twitter, and I instantly was like, this is the question.
Oh, boy.
What, in your opinion, do you think is the best animal as far as fighting as a pack?
Whoa. Fighting as a pack?
You get a pack of this and a pack of that. Who's winning that fight? Who's the king of the king of pack? A pack. How they fight, how they hunt, how they live their lives. Who has the best pack as far as in the animal kingdom?
Yeah, this is going to expose my lack of...
There's some good ones.
My lack of Planet Earth watching here. Just the number of times you said pack there, obviously I'm thinking of a wolf pack, immediately.
Definitely. I would say they're definitely top 3.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. How many things hunt in packs?
So I went to the comment section because I was like, okay, I'm thinking of things, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are some animals that they call it, they're not necessarily a pack, it's called something different, like a pride.
Yeah, pride for lions,
right?
Yeah.
But I went in the comments section, there's surprisingly a lot of animals that travel in packs. Buffalo.
Sure.
Bears, which I did not know. Grizzly bears specifically, they tend to hang around. Moms around.
Yeah, sure.
Their children, which you get 3 or 4. That's a pack, right? I would say a pack would be anything more than 3. Orcas,
yeah,
whales are pack. They travel in packs. Not just orcas, but just whales in general. Like blue whales travel in packs. I don't think sharks are. If you've ever watched a movie in your life, we've hashed that out. Actually, it was one of the.
I've seen 0 movies.
I think it was actually one of the best of Patio Beers. We talked about our movie, movie histories. Velociraptor.
Oh.
It's extinct, obviously.
Yeah.
But what has Jurassic Park taught us? they're phenomenal hunters in packs. So,
yeah.
You have a favorite? Because I have a favorite.
I think wolves are just sweet. So I'm
they
drawn
are
to wolves and like the idea of a wolf.
You're a dog guy too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's probably it, given a lack of general knowledge.
Yeah.
in this subject area, but
so my favorite. I'll tell you, I've seen enough videos on this to kind of prove my point, but I truly believe that lions are, I think cats in general are the top of the top as far as actual hunting goes.
Probably. Yeah.
The most sneaky, the most, fastest. But I think a pride of lions is specifically a mom with cubs and a dad, and probably another family of the same thing kind of hanging around, because they do have like multiple family prides. Feels insurmountable for most animals, which would include a velociraptor. Like, now you can't have a lion fight an orca, right? But land
versus sea.
Yeah, land versus sea. But that was mine. I just feels I've seen enough like crazy lion videos where like dudes are getting like their arms bit off and stuff. They just like, I actually saw, and the reason I went back to this video I saw on Twitter, this like circus, they had like 5 lions like on, I don't know, like a pedestal or whatever. And the lion wrangler is in there, and like you saw like the lions kind of like all look at each other, and then they just all kind of just, and oh dude, it was brutal. Like this dude gets like a couple times is in the mouth of the lions, but like they silent communication of just like when to go, and it was just like this dude started getting surrounded, and there's nothing he could do. I actually think he made it out of the cage. I actually read an article about the video, but like the silent communication of just, and then just kind of surrounding him and like suffocating, dude. It was, lions were my pick for sure.
I don't know what corners of the internet you're finding yourself in,
dude. My algorithms, thanks a lot to Andrew Gunther. My algorithms are off the charts. It's just insane.
The reels are a dark, scary place right now.
Yeah. But I went with lion. I think
we need to, after having this conversation, we're gonna have to like do some research and power rank the names of groups of animals. Like you said, like a lion, like pride.
Yeah,
I know like crows are a murder. Like that's sick.
Yeah, buffalo is called something, and I'm drawing a blank on it, but it's called something different.
I think hippos is like a bloat.
Yeah, bloat. I knew that one.
Like a gaggle for like geese and stuff. There's all kinds of like sweet
gaggle geese.
Yeah, so we're gonna effort that. We're gonna have to do a little animal group power ranking.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I love that was just way off the wall. I was just so oriented on goals that this isn't a goal thing, but we talked a little bit about 2024 being a bit of an exciting year. We feel like there's some good hope and promise in it. I'm just curious, like, what are you most looking forward to in 2024?
Man, that's a good question. When you get to the new year, it's all about like, okay, what am I going to change? Like, for me, it's like, what processes am I going to change at work? What processes am I change in my life? But you never think of like, oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, and it may be recency bias.
This is recency bias. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
But I will tell you this, as this bachelor party starts to come to fruition, man, it's going to be a humdinger.
Yeah.
We're sitting rooftop at a Cubs game. I think we're often at the course we narrowed down to is phenomenal.
Which looks like has an elite patio, which is a key
absolutely
for us.
Elite patio.
Yeah.
To the point where, we might be out there filming for 30 minutes, for content purposes, because it is elite of elite patios. Hopefully the pictures are actually what it looks like, because if it's anything remotely close to what it looks like, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, this might be like the romantic in me, but like May, spring, like when we're going, it's got an opportunity to just be fantastic weather, like big city spring weather.
Oh.
Like Man, I just don't know if you get any better than that, right?
Yeah, we just got to hope, like you said, Mother Nature and the weather cooperates.
I mean, it could be fucking terrible. It really could be, but there's a really good chance it could just be 70 and sunny, and that makes me excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sure I'm missing something. But to me, recency bias, that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I obviously asking this question, thought about how I'd answer it. I am going to cheat a little bit because for me, I'm just like generally looking forward to the summer. Like, and it starts, the summer doesn't officially start till now, but like I think that bachelor party, you know, Gunther Chandler's wedding is on Memorial Day weekend. Like,
it's going to be a pretty good kickoff.
Kicking it off with that, it's mine and Susie's 10th anniversary. We're going to do a big trip together. Our kids are just at a really fun age. I'm feeling super positive about the golf season.
Yeah.
Just like,
well, you don't have an infant anymore, right?
Dude, yeah, last year is so...
It sucks.
You forget how bad it's just about survival.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
not
bad.
Good.
Once they flip and they're like sleeping through the night and they have a little independence and they can walk and they're starting to talk, and it's like a whole different ball game, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, well, and like, so I would say summer's up there for me too, because that reason alone, right? You know, our youngest is 3; she'll be 4 in June. You know, we're out of diapers.
Yeah.
She's taking swim lessons. Like, we go down to the pool a lot in our neighborhood. We're getting to the point where she's becoming a good swimmer. It's not like you gotta, like, even with a life jacket, you're like, oh gosh, like, I'm gonna hover. Like, you gotta still watch them because stuff can happen, right? But like, it's not gonna be like, you know, constantly, like you're sitting at a table, just constantly looking over your shoulder or looking and watching and like not paying attention to anybody else. That's what that is the reason I'm looking forward to it, just because it's more fun, right? Like, when you can do more, it's more fun.
Right. So yeah, and I think, you know, we've talked about the stuff we want to do with the pod and the content and stuff, and just like, I think summer this year is just going to be special for a lot of different reasons, and I'm just freaking excited for it. Like, honestly, straight up.
Yeah, and like thinking about by April, you know, we're gonna have a year under our belt doing this.
It's wild.
There's just so many more, and we're learning. Just so everybody knows, like, we're learning every day as we do this. We're learning how to do new things. Like, I'm watching YouTube how to, like, we both handle different things with this. There's a lot of cool opportunity down the road that now that we're like really learning how to do this. Like a live show, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's not this year. Maybe it's next year. But I think now that we're really learning how to do this, like, there's just so many opportunities to do some really cool things that I think last year was just like, no way. Like, we're not even, one, because you have an infant, and it's just, we just started this. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. I'm barely editing these freaking, episodes. Like, I'm learning on the fly. Had no past experience, but I'm excited that it feels like this is, and thanks to everybody that listens, right? Like, it's catching some momentum, and we have fun, and we know we've talked to enough people that listen that they're having fun. That does make this year, just in general, exciting. It does. It feels like it's going to be a really good year.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that's where we end it.
Yeah.
We're on the upswing. 2024 goals are in the books. We're back with the live pod, or not the live podcast, but the new podcast, I should say. As always, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media. We don't have the online pro shop set up, but you can still buy stuff from us. You want a hat? As you approach the new golf season, we got koozies and stickers we're throwing in. If we still have a towel available, let us know what you want. We'll make it happen. So
I do want to say something.
Sure.
And this is something so easy. I think we've kind of talked about, but I think it'd be easy to do. I think, if you want to shoot us a question, like, if we get enough questions, like, we do a little bit of a segment of a Q&A, like, you can ask us anything. It doesn't have to be golf related, frankly. Message us on Instagram. I'm sure a lot of, some people that listen to this have our phone numbers. You can text me. And, like, we'll get a list of questions together, and I think that would be pretty cool. So, before next Monday night, if you have a question or something, you want us to talk about, like, shoot it to us.
Yeah, and look, hey, we've had listeners and friends submit potential patio beer questions. take the pressure off of us. So come on, ask us something that we can ask each other.
Yep.
That way I don't have to keep coming up with these ideas the last second every week.
Yeah, so, exactly.
That'd be great. We'd love to hear from everybody out there and, get people more involved in the conversation. So,
yep.
All right. With that, we'll see you next time. Cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.